Welcome to the new home site for Composr CMS, that is Composr.app. In this video, I'll go over briefly some of the new features that are available on this website. One of the first things you'll notice, especially when creating an account or logging in for the first time at Composr.app, is the Composr Constitution. Previously, development of Composr was largely based on a sponsorship model. There was a parent company, OC Products Ltd., which provided funding for a lot of Composr development. But now, the focus of development has shifted over to the community. Composr, and subsequently Composr.app, now runs on something called the Bazaar model. Essentially, every member can play a key role in the development and maintenance of Composr CMS. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment, but first, the Constitution. I would highly recommend giving it a read, as it outlines all of your rights and responsibilities and privileges of being a Composr user. Additionally, it outlines a new governance model for Composr. Let's talk a little bit more about the new governance model for Composr.app. We now define a board of directors. These members can be voted in or voted out by the Composr community. The board of directors are largely responsible for taking on a leadership role for Composr. In particular, they help moderate the Composr.app website, the repositories, and the direction of development for Composr CMS. Now let's get back to the Bazaar model a little bit. Every member can play a crucial role in deciding the direction of Composr CMS, and this is done through a voting system. Now, every member on the Composr.app website has something called voting power. Voting power is determined by the number of rank points that a member has. Rank points are essentially the total number of points that a member has ever earned for submitting content. And voting power controls how much of a voice a member has when placing their vote on a measure. So for example, a member with a voting power of 10 has 10 times the weight on a vote as a member with a voting power of 1. So the more a member contributes to Composr CMS, the more voting power they have, and therefore, the more effect they have when voting on measures. I'll get into more detail about earning points and increasing your voting power when we discuss the new Composr ecosystem. Let's talk a little bit about how voting works. There is a special forum on Composr.app, which is located in the Constitution as a link, or you could simply find it on the forums page. In this forum, you can either propose a measure or vote on open measures. A measure is a proposal. This can be a request to change something with regards to Composr CMS, or to add something, or to implement something. There are a lot of different possibilities. For instance, you can open a measure for implementing a new feature in Composr CMS. You could open a measure to vote in or vote out a member on the board of directors. You can open a measure to request a change to the Constitution. You can open measures to appeal bans and discipline, and so on. A measure consists of a simple poll that has either yay or nay. And then there are some rules that must be followed with regards to voting, as outlined in the Constitution. Once a vote is concluded, if there are enough yay votes, then the measure takes effect. And if not, the measure is simply ignored and does not go into effect. There are a few things that cannot be voted on because they are deemed unconstitutional by the Constitution. Those are outlined in the Constitution. But essentially anything that would take away the rights of members, anything that would introduce a bias on voter restrictions, anything that would set unrealistic expectations on members or developers, or anything that establishes positions of seniority are considered unconstitutional and cannot be voted on. Let's talk about the updated Composr ecosystem. It is crucial that members who have the time and the resources contribute to Composr CMS in order to ensure its long-term sustainability. It's not a requirement to contribute back to the Composr community, but members who do so will earn points, privileges, and other rewards. And remember, when you earn points, you increase your voting power, which means you have a stronger say when voting on measures. And there are several different ways that one can contribute to Composr. You can contribute code, you can report issues and suggestions to the tracker, you can offer support to other members, whether that would be free or paid support. You can promote Composr on social media or in blog posts. You can exchange points with other members for goods or services. Or you can write or review Composr documentation. When you contribute back to Composr CMS, you help move development of Composr CMS forward. You help find and fix bugs and security issues, which the core development team may not initially find. You get yourself noticed within the developer community and especially the open source community, which can be a big plus when you're later applying for development-related jobs. You build up a career and experience because what you contribute can be added to a resume, and you can even build a business out of it. You can establish your own company, such as a limited liability company, to provide paid professional Composr support to other members, or even hosting. Now, while we're still using the Mantis bug tracker for tracking issues and features on Composr, we do have a new feature implemented. If you go to any issue, you'll notice that there is a sponsorship section. Here, you can sponsor an issue using your points. Essentially, if there is something that you want to see implemented in Composr CMS, you can put some points down on an issue. When you put points down, whomever implements the issue will receive those points as a reward. So by sponsoring an issue with points, you are encouraging other members to implement the issue. And don't worry, if an issue that you sponsor does not get implemented and instead gets closed, the points you sponsored will get refunded back to you. And you can always change your sponsorship amount on an issue at any time, so long as it's still open. Keep in mind though, there is a minimum sponsorship of 25 points. Now, point sponsorships on the issue tracker utilize the new Points Escrow system in Composr version 11. Now I'm going to briefly touch on that. Here, you could see a points profile of My Member Profile. When you're viewing any member's points profile, you can escrow points to them. Escrowing points is essentially sponsoring points to them in exchange for a good or service. So let's say a member is going to provide you some professional support in exchange for some points. You can escrow some points, which means you put some points into the Composr system, along with a recorded written agreement. And then, when both parties mark the escrow as satisfied, the receiver, that is the person you are escrowing to, will receive the escrowed points. And at any time, if something happens, you can dispute the escrow and a moderator will review it. And moderators can take actions such as canceling the escrow and refunding the points back to you, completing the escrow partially, or completing the escrow fully. So in short, the points escrow system allows you to safely transfer points to another member in exchange for a good or a service. Another new feature in Composr version 11 that is available as a non-bundled add-on is achievements. we have this non-bundled add-on installed on the new Composr home site. So your contributions to the Composr community will also earn you achievements. And achievements are little badges that appear on your profile and on every forum post you make. They can also come with points as well. Also new in Composr version 11 as a non-bundled add-on is Karma. We also have this installed on the new home site. Karma is a public measurement of a member's reputation within the community. This is calculated using sophisticated algorithms and takes into consideration things such as ratings on content, warnings and punishments received, points received from other members, awards, and virtual gifts. Members who had an account on Composr who have been migrated to Composr.app may notice that they might have Karma already, and that is because I calculated a base Karma score based off of the content that you created on Composr. Note that Karma is experimental. Take it with a grain of salt, and it is not a feature that is guaranteed to remain on the new Composr home site. The next new feature on the new home site is ranks. Rather, this is not necessarily a new feature, but rather there is a new tab on your profile that you can view called Rank. This is a new feature in Composr CMS version 11 in general, but I'm currently playing around and figuring out some rewards that can be assigned to members based off of their rank. And this is an attempt to help encourage members to contribute towards the Composr community. The rank tab on your profile will show you what you have unlocked and what you can unlock by ranking up further. There's also a new statistics page on the new Composr home site which shows interactive graphs of different statistics. These graphs are updated every hour automatically. They show things like the number of views that have been made on the website, the amount of activity that has taken place, the number of times something has been downloaded, points that have been received, forum activity, tracker issue activity, logged security incidences from the home site, and warnings that have been issued to other members. And of course, some of the main features of Composr are also available on Composr.app, such as the forums, documentation, a version 11 site showcase, a partners page where you can advertise Composr services that you are offering, and a community stars page which highlights the top contributing members of the community based off of the points that they received. And if you have any additional ideas for Composr.app, feel free to let us know by reporting an issue, by going under the menu under Support and Report Software Issue. That about wraps up some of the new features that are available on the new Composr.app website. I hope you enjoy the website, and if you find any issues or have any suggestions, feel free to report them to the tracker under Support, Report Software Issue, and be sure to select the home site on the first step.